Looking to add a touch of holiday magic to your decorations? A giant Christmas bow is a perfect way to make a bold, festive statement. I'm going to show you how you can use Metallic Oly-Fun fabric from Fairfield World to create a big, beautiful bow that's durable, lightweight, and even waterproof. If you've never tried Metallic Oly-Fun fabric, you are going to love this textile. It's really beautiful and it's perfect for Christmas projects like this one. I'm starting out with a bolt of Oly-Fun fabric. Right now, this is on Amazon for around $22, $23. So that's 10 yards of fabric. So you can make a ton of bows with this. I am cutting it into a 2-yard length. The fabric is 30 inches wide. So I will be cutting that in half to make 2 strips. So every bow loop is made from a piece that is 2 yards long and 15 inches wide. So right now you can see I am just measuring this out and cutting that 2-yard length from the red bolt of Metallic Oly-Fun fabric. I'm going to simply roll it back up so that I can easily cut it into 2 longer strips. So as I mentioned before, the Oly-Fun bolt is 30 inches across. So I'm going to use my measuring stick and find out where the 15-inch mark is and then just cut that in half. So now I have 2 pieces so I can create 2 of the giant loops for my big, beautiful bow. I'll be making 3 loops to create each of the bows. So the way I do that is I take my first piece and I want to find the middle. So I'm going to fold it in half to find the middle, and you could mark it. What I like to do is cut just a little snip so that when I'm scrunching this up, I can actually feel where the center is. So I'm simply marking it with a little cut, but you could also just use a marker or pencil to show where that center line is. Now I'm going to open this up flat on my work surface and fold it in so that each end reaches the middle and then crosses over at least an inch. You want to have a little bit of overlap so that these loops don't come undone. So I folded one side over and now I'm folding the other one over so that they touch and then overlap by at least an inch. And then I always like to take my ruler and double check one more time because it's really frustrating when you make a bow and then the loops are uneven. So we want to be really careful and make sure we're getting them right. I will be using a chenille stem that's also a metallic red to hold this together. So now I'm going to grab each end and fold it in together. See there? I've already got a big, pretty bow. And then, like I mentioned before, use that chenille stem, twist it around the center there to hold this loop in place. After that's all twisted together, I am going to fluff up the bow. One, it helps you check and see if your ends have been secured tightly enough. And 2, you can see if you've centered it evenly and if it looks just the way you want it to. So yep, I'm happy with that, and I'm going to move on to the next set of loops. Now I'm going to repeat that process with the gold Oly-Fun metallic fabric. Again, this is 2 yards long by 15 inches wide. I am marking the center so that I know exactly where to fold this into the center, so that my bows will be evenly balanced and I won't have one loop longer than the other. So again, fold it into the middle, check to make sure that I'm in the right place, scrunch that up together, and then use the chenille stem to twist that middle and hold it in place. After that's done, I will fluff it up to make sure that it's even and looks the way I want it to look. Honestly, I think the bow looks cute all by itself. I'm probably going to go back and make a few more of these to decorate presents with because it's just so shiny and pretty. But for this giant door decor, I will be putting 3 of these together. So I've lined it up, red, gold, red, and then I'm going to pinch all those together and tie them up with a length of twine. You want to cut a length of twine that's about a yard long so that we have enough to wrap around these bows and then also to create the loop that we will be hanging this up with. So as I mentioned, I'm using the twine. I'm going to tie these together securely, knot it a few times, and then make a loop out of this by just tying a knot at the end so that I have something to hang this up with later. Now to cover up this center, I have cut a piece that's about 15 inches long and 6 inches wide. I'm going to fold the ends in just to give it some neat edges and then simply staple that so that my fold doesn't come undone. Then I'm going to twist that to cover up that twine that I just placed in the center. See there? It's going to help tidy this up and create a pretty focal point in the center. I'm going to bring that together at the back and once again use my stapler to staple this in place. I'm going to put several staples in there and then I'm also going to staple the twine to it so that I don't lose that hanging loop that I will be needing later. Now that I've got all the pieces together, I am once again going to fluff them up. This is really easy to do. And the way this Metallic Oly-Fun is made, it's going to hold its shape. So I don't have to worry about this collapsing later. I don't need to add wire. This is going to stay big and full and beautiful just because that's the nature of this material. Now all that's left to do is to create the tails for this giant, beautiful metallic bow. For the tail, I'm going to be cutting pieces of Metallic Oly-Fun fabric that are 1 yard long. And this time, instead of cutting it into 15-inch strips like I did for the bow loops, I found that that just looked too wide. Instead, I'm cutting them into 10-inch wide pieces. So it's 1 yard long by 10 inches wide. That's the red Metallic Oly-Fun. For the thinner stripe of gold in the center, I also cut 1 yard, but I just made it 3 inches wide. So the biggest part of the tail is 10 inches wide. The little accent piece is 3 inches wide. I'm going to put those together and then staple them into place. And after that, I'm going to lay them together and put them at an angle. So I create that little kind of upside down V shape that's so pretty on bows. And I will staple them together. Once I have the tail assembled and stapled, I'm going to attach it to the bow using my stapler again. I'm going to attach it to that little strip that we use to cover the centerpiece. It's just going to staple right onto that. So it's also attached to the loop. This fabric is very, very light, so I don't have to worry about the tail dragging anything down or hanging too low. That's what's so awesome about this fabric is you can cut it and it's not going to fray, so I don't have to sew or glue anything. And then I can just use my stapler like I would with paper to hold it all together. So that makes this a really quick and easy to make project. So you can make a ton of bows in no time at all. Once it's all put together, I might have to fluff it up just a little bit one last time, and then I'm ready to hang it up outside. Isn't that gorgeous? I really love it. I love the color and the sparkle that it's going to bring to my front door this holiday season. Please give this project a try. I promise you are going to love Metallic Oly-Fun. It is so cool and it's so much fun to craft with. Check out my video description for links to all the products used in this tutorial and have fun crafting and creating home decor for Christmas.